The number that matters if you want to either get wealthy or stay wealthy or live a decent life is the rate of expansion of the currency supply. And if the currency supply in US dollars is expanding at, say, 10% a year, then that means you can expect every scarce desirable asset that anybody with money in America or anybody with money with dollars in the world is going to want to buy, it's going to go up at a rate of 10% a year or more. And so if you're not actually investing, growing your cash flow, growing your assets via that number, you're getting poorer, right? You're not getting wealthier. And once you actually do that and you do an analysis of asset classes and investing, what really pops out, which is fascinating, is the S&P index is simply tracking the currency supply of US dollars for the past 100 years. As when you invest in a diversified portfolio of stocks, you're not making money. All you're doing is preserving the capital that you had. You're not getting poor. You're not getting richer. You're just tracking sideways. You think you're getting richer in nominal terms, but in real terms, you're not.
So if you don't get what Michael Saylor is saying here, for those that just invest sort of modestly, 401ks, and that's what you're depending on for your retirement, understand that just because you have a diversification with your 401k plan, whatever your employer offers, is that basically you're just preserving your capital. So if it's stacking up to $1 million over a 30-year window, you're just preserving capital because that $1 million of purchasing power is diminishing over that same window. You're not outpacing the debasement just by doing that. You're just sort of maintaining on a steady level. So understand, hard assets, real estate, Bitcoin, gold is going to continue to go up in nominal value at least 10% year over year. A home that costs $300,000, $330,000, then $330,000 times 10%, you're looking at $363,000, so on and so forth year over year. You have to outpace that. Bitcoin's the fastest horse in the race. And with that, what's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. We're not going to waste any time. We're getting straight into it. The current time it's recording, Bitcoin's right over $70,000. Bitcoin has eclipsed 70,000. What's next? This is Bitcoin on the 2-week chart, and we've showed you this before. We came back and retested this resistance back in 2021. We flipped it to support, and right now we're sort of gearing up for the next leg to the upside. There's a lot of excitement, and with the extensions, we're seeing 80,000. There might be a little bit of traffic based on this 1.272 range. That 1.618 is 98,000. There'll probably be a lot of euphoria. Looking at this cup and handle pattern, what is the technical target? That takes us up to between 110 and 120,000 is where this could go. Could Bitcoin overshoot it? Could it go higher? Yes, but this is what the technicals are showing us. Now, what do we see here? We see the 5 waves playing out, the 4th leg pullback. The 5th leg is the last leg of this cycle. So is it about to get extremely euphoric? And right here, looking at the daily change in Bitcoin holdings, this is the US spot ETFs. Now, mind you, this is just US, not global ETFs. There's global ETFs that's been passing. But look, Grayscale has stopped selling as of 6/3. Now, will this continue? We got to wait, give it a month's time, because you see, 5/31, they sold off a couple thousand Bitcoin. We still were net positive. We've been net positive for quite some time, over the past almost month going on. So if this continues and Grayscale starts to turn around and actually buy, this is going to squeeze the supply even more. We want you to be prepared. We've been telling you this big wall of money's coming, and there was a brief sell-off, but now the buying has commenced. Bitcoin dominance is showing us something as well. Now, you've seen this on Twitter. There's been a lot of people just looking at this uptrend. And once again, it's something to pay attention to. The trend's your friend until the end. On the monthly chart, we can't 100% say that we fell down, even though this current monthly trend, if we make this white line skinnier, it gives you a better picture that we are currently below this. So if we zoom into this, we see that we're just right at this upwards trend. So Once again, the trend's your friend to the end. Zoom out on these charts. What we see on the stochastic and also the RSI, it does seem like we could be seeing an alt season sooner rather than later, but there's still some time that could be playing out, because when this tops out, it took about a year before it started to reverse on the stochastic. Now, the stochastic RSI is a leading indicator, meaning when this bottomed out, you see that the dominance didn't bottom out just quite yet. This had to come up and reset a little bit and then do a double bottom, and that was the bottom out. So this is something to pay attention to. And the same thing here, even though it's bottomed out, let's shrink this so you can see the whole price. When this bottomed out, we hadn't even fell off this cliff yet. And when we fell off this cliff, it had a bounce, then an ultimate bottom out, a similar double bottom pattern before we came out of it. Double bottom pattern before we came out of it. Now, note that this typically bottomed out after the halving. It happened back here in 2016, bottomed out for the first time, happened after the 2020 halving, bottomed out for the second time. So look here, this happened roughly about 2 months after the halving in 2016, and then here was March of 2020, didn't really bottom out for the first time September 2020, so you're looking at a 6-month window. So it did a 3x as far as time goes, as far as increase. So 6 months to a year and a half. Could it take 18 months to see this first bottom out? That would take us all the way to October of 2025 before we see this first valley. And mind you, we have to have that bounce and then that double bottom before we see that ultimate bottom. So that would take it even longer to see the double bottom. So from double bottom to double bottom, you're seeing September to roughly May. So that's looking at almost 8 months. And here you're looking at September to July. You're looking at almost another 9-10 months. So this alt season could be drug out all the way to 2026 if this time frame stays consistent. It's something to pay attention to. But either way, you see what happens. There's oscillators. It comes down, comes up, comes down, comes up. What's coming next? We're going to come down. This is going to reset as well. The RSI has some exposure to the alt market to get some more Bitcoin value, but no one's going to be able to time this perfectly. Michael Saylor even thinks the same.
Like if you roll the clock back to 2007, Steve Jobs invents the iPhone. And, people thought, oh, it's a toy. By 2009, the iPhone's got an app store. And if you understood anything about software, the iOS is a new operating system, and it's going to be its own ecosystem, at least as important as the web. And it's going to spawn an entire new generation of applications, right? And the mobile wave is responsible for what? $5 to $10 trillion of wealth over the next decade. Can you imagine someone sitting around saying, oh, I get mobile device technology, and you're trying to time the market in Apple stock in 2011? Like you're buying and selling Apple stock in 2011? You're like, you want to shake? I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm trading Facebook stock back and forth between $8 a share and $4 a share and $12 a share. And you just want to do this. Like, do you not understand that one day every single person on the planet is going to have one of these things in their pocket, and it's going to go up by a factor of 100, and you're trying to trade Apple stock between $1.25 and $1.17 and bragging about how you bought it at $1.25 and sold it at $2.11. And have you figured out the consequences of being short the share if it goes up by $100? Are you out of your mind? I spent 30 years in the business, and I obsess over this every single freaking minute of the day. And I wrote a book on it, right? I made $500 million investing in these things, right? And I started, and I put a small amount of capital in. And let me tell you one thing, John, I can't time the market. I have no freaking clue.
So if Michael Saylor can't time the market, and Michael Saylor's self-made billionaire, has billions of dollars in crypto, understands a little bit about financial markets, how do you think that you'll be able to time the market? Be smart about this. With that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today. And I'm out.